Hello, Mike Harney. I wanted to welcome you to my house. I'm having a little bit of tea and I'm going to try to answer the questions that you people have posed for me. Well, we don't want to have a dispute between you and your mother. Here it is, the holidays and everything. But there really isn't too much of a difference on many of the teas. So we're going to go both ways on this and we'll solve that problem, that dispute. But with, say, Dragon Pearl, last week we got in our Dragon Pearl first shipment for 2021, and we have those lovely pearls. And that's the same thing in the sachet as it is in the loose tea, exactly the same. But you know, sometimes it has to be different because the sachet machine, you know, flows down and it goes 60 bags a minute, so it has to keep moving. And so like for chamomile, when we used to do 100% chamomile, it would get stuck in the middle, and one sachet would have too much and the next one would have too little. And so we decided to break up the sachet, the chamomile heads and the flower then, so it flows a little bit better. So for chamomile, it wouldn't be the same as loose tea, but for Dragon Pearl, it would. So I hope that resolves your dispute. Now, the other thing you have to remember is that for most of our sachets, it doesn't really affect the flavor. So that's not going to be too big of a difference there. You know, we have so many green teas, and it's a good question. But I do love my Meija Wu Lung Ching. You know, that's from the other side of Hangzhou, and there's a guy there, Mr. Wang, that has been doing our teas for many years. And so I do love that a lot. But there's so many other ones. You know, oolongs are such a joy in my life. I really do enjoy them so much. We get our Chinese oolongs are from Fujian province, which is along the coast of China, halfway between Shanghai and Hong Kong. And then the other place that we get them from is Taiwan. That's across the Taiwan Straits in Taiwan. And we get some great teas there. In fact, my favorite one is Lishan. That's a high mountain tea, has great flavor. Although today we just got in some tea Kuan Yin, and that tasted pretty good for me too. You know, are we going to get more big red robe? Yes, we are. I think that some just came in after this question was asked, and that's something that we try to keep stocked up. You know, sometimes we have two different ways of calling it. It could be big red robe, or it could be Da Hong Pao, which your Chinese would say, translator would say, it means big red robe. It's a funny story, that one. It's in the Wuishan Mountains, and it was these three plants. There was a guy, they say, that was studying to pass his exams, and when he passed those exams, he hung his big red robe over those three plants, which they say still exist today. I've seen three plants, but I'm not sure they're the same ones that he saw. Well, we are in the midst of doing that right now. You know, we have the existing one is a petroleum-based nylon, and we are moving off to a plant-based sugarcane. We're about at 35% right now. We're trying to get up to 100%. You know, between operational problems at our side and logistical problems, as they call it, supply chain problems, on stuff coming in, it is a little complicated, but our goal is to have it done by the end of 2022. As I mentioned, we're about 35% right now. So that would be the 50-count sachets, the classic sachets, and very soon the wrap sachets. So we're going on that, and it should be very soon. Well, I would be nuts not to give her Brigitte's blend. I made that tea for her, and I believe she still likes it. I'm not sure, but I'll ask her tonight. Well, thank you for that question. That's a good one. You know, before I was in tea, I was in wine. When I first got out of Cornell, I worked over in Paris. It was a very tough job. I had to walk around Paris and drink wine. And that was a fabulous time when I was over there. So I think I also was able to apply many of the things that I now use in tea. So the ability to understand a liquid and how to taste it, and all the different types of cépage, as they call it, or grapes types, and the methods of how it's made, the blend of agriculture and gastronomy and beverages is something that has been very good for me. You know, when I wrote my book about tea, I tried to apply what I had learned in wine, so maybe I can go back and apply what I learned in tea. You know, in the early days, it wasn't too bad. Of course, we had the crisis back in March of 2020 and April of 2020. But from a sourcing standpoint, you know, the demand went down, but we still had the same supply from the year before, so we were able to ride it down, and we didn't have much of a supply problem. But as the months have gone by, it's become more and more a problem. You know, right now we're on vapors with our Assams. We have just like 2 or 3 Assams that are around right now. We're trying to find more. We're hoping that the boat comes in. Same thing with the jasmines. They're coming in, delay. So it's a bit of a problem. You know, our bottles that we put in our ready-to-drink things, it's been a bit of a struggle. They mentioned something to us earlier in the year, but we said it doesn't apply to us. But you know, it did, turns out, and it is starting to bite quite a bit. The other thing is that the shipping costs have gone up so much, and so the freight coming in is much more expensive. You know, 5-6 times more. So we're hoping that starts to go down a bit, but they say that's going to be after Chinese New Year, so we'll have to see. So as I say, you know, stuff's coming in next month. Well, we're just not sure which year next month. Is that January of 22 or January of 23? So that's a bit of a problem with us.
What is your favorite tea?
You know, my favorite tea, as I mentioned earlier, is Lishan, and that's a high mountain Taiwanese oolong, a semi-oxidized tea, and it has these luscious lemon flavors. I always sort of compare it maybe to, you know, lemon taffy that I had a lot when in my youth, and it's such an enjoyable tea. But you know, I really shouldn't say that. That's just like asking which is my favorite son. I have so many sons, and most of them are my favorites most of the time. Sometimes.
What does Harney look like in the next 38 years?
Well, I did the math, and 38 years from now, I would be, I think, 104, if I did the math correctly. And although tea has been good for me and good for my health, I doubt that I'll be around for that big day 38 years from now. You know, but if you look at the history of tea, people have been drinking tea for thousands of years. You know, my father passed the business down to my brother and myself, and so I would like to think that our family would be still in the tea business, and maybe not my sons, but maybe say Cora Bell, the next generation after them, might be running around and taking care of your tea needs. So there you go.
What made you happy today?
Well, we survived Cyber Week, so I'm happy there, and I'm happy trying to keep customers happy every day. Dzień dobry. I hope everything well is in Poland, and thank you for those kind words. Well, the questions are winding down, so's the fire. I'm still plenty. I've got some tea here, and I want to thank you all for the support you've given Harney & Sons for many decades. My father from upstairs, my brother, my family, all thank you, as well as all our employees. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.